I'm always concerned with the power of the image. The forms themselves become subservient. I guess it does create what you would call a style, but I think more than that, it creates a way of working. The pieces kind of call me. They tell me when they're ready to be worked on. I mean, I literally am in relationship with all of this work. I know all these pieces. And even though I'm not working on them, they're inside of me. This piece has been cooking in me since well before 90, well before I even actually blew the form. Tower I did in 90, I think it was 91. They're all one of a kind. There are no copies. What I love about working with sand molds is that it's still very spontaneous. I just start putting together a piece out of all of my various parts. So I take all my patterns out, I sort of arrange them the way that the piece is going to be, and then I build the mold, and then take all of the parts out so I leave the cavity. And even then, when I have the cavity, I can still continue to impress things in and manipulate the final negative space for the glass to be blown into. My relationship to my work is one of discovery, discovering what the work wants to be. But the work comes out of a need, and a need that it be made, and that's how I want to keep it. So anyway, enough talk. Let's put some paint on this thing. I never really considered myself a painter, you know, when I started doing this. The love was glass, but I knew that I needed to get specific kinds of imagery on the glass, that just putting basic designs of glass patterns down using glass itself just wasn't enough. I tried a bunch of different things, including fired-on paints, which I really didn't like that much. If you don't like the process you're working in, you're not going to be successful at it. I like the directness of brush and pigment. It's very immediate. The idea gets to flow right out. It's a tremendously opaque material. And here I am using it with a tremendously transparent material. And yet the blending of the two, it's such a perfect marriage. I get my palette in front of me, a basic set of colors, and then I look and my eye leads me. My eye tells me where to go and what to start on. And when I start painting, I mean, I do not know what I'm going to do. It seems like a very meditative process, a very quiet process. But oftentimes when I'm in here, if you were to hear what was going on inside my head, it'd be a deafening roar. As I was painting here, the brush slipped and it made a smear. My first reaction was, oh God, oh man. And I'm looking around to get something to clean it, and I go, nah, I'm gonna just leave it, see what happens. So I left it, and sure enough, it suggested this movement in the star. Accidents lead to all the best stuff. You know, as much design as I use, I like to stay away from this sort of, you know, repetitive, everything's looking the same. I like to always have things become a little more chaotic and not design. Have things going opposite ways, have different strange colors in it. It's almost like the piece becomes a palimpsest. It's not that I don't believe in well-made stuff, but I don't want it to look like art. I want it to look like itself, what it is, not with some idea of what art's supposed to look like these days. What is predetermined in this work is me, that I'm here making it. I guess I've come to the realization that I can't wait around for someone else to do it. I have to do it myself. I have to give the inner world and the inner life and the world of the soul enough respect myself that that's the kind of world I'm living in. as the work came out and people were in the presence of it, suddenly it was very clear that even though I was working from images that were my own, everybody was connected to them. Obviously, there's a lot going on. There are references that are made all over the place. Suns, moons, crosses, stars, flames, faces. I mean, there's all kinds of things, doorways, windows, the shape itself. They beg question, but in the end, as a whole, when the piece is done, it is the thing. The piece is the thing. Piece is successful or not, as far as I'm concerned, if a person can look at it and resonate, find things in it that relate specifically to their interior life. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a wonderful
We think of it
piece.
as a sort of shrine.
A little shrine, exactly. Yeah, that's what it is. What blows me away, I'll walk in here and I'll be working on a piece and I'm painting, and suddenly I do a last piece of paint and I look at it and it's done. And I go, it's done. Holy mackerel, I can't believe it. I mean, it's that much of a surprise to me. Gee, I hope I can do that again.